confusing, because depending on who you ask, this is either a complete misunderstanding, a behind-the-scenes power struggle, or something much bigger that's being controlled. Wait, stop everything. Did you see what just came in? That's the exact message one producer allegedly sent at 2:47 a.m. before things completely went silent inside the network. No announcement, no press release, just panic. And within minutes, phones started ringing nonstop. One insider claims they heard someone inside the building literally say, "If this gets out publicly, it's over." Like actually over. At the center of it all, a name that wasn't supposed to be part of any controversy like this. Michael Feldman. Now here's where things start to get confusing, because depending on who you ask, this is either a complete misunderstanding, a behind-the-scenes power struggle, or something much bigger that's being controlled in real time. But what makes this situation explode even more is that names like Nancy, Hoda, Kotb, and Tommaso are now being dragged into the chaos, reportedly not because they started it, but because they're trying to control the damage before it leaks out further. And one leaked message allegedly says, "Keep him out of the spotlight. Don't let this reach the air. Not today." But the question is, why the panic? Why the urgency? And what exactly are they trying to stop from coming out? Because whatever happened behind those closed doors, it's already starting to spill out. And the worst part? This is only the beginning. The media world has always been built on power, influence, and carefully hidden secrets. But behind the polished cameras and morning show smiles, there was always one name people whispered about in silence. A towering media empire, controlled by a single powerful figure known for shaping careers, destroying reputations, and controlling narratives that the public never questioned. But what the audience never saw was the tension building behind the scenes. For years, insiders claimed there was a growing divide inside the empire, a silent war between executives, producers, and on-air personalities who all feared crossing one invisible line. And at the center of this storm was a powerful media executive, known for being both respected and feared across the industry. But things started changing when a rising conflict began involving a high-profile journalist and a behind-the-scenes power player whose influence stretched far deeper than anyone realized. At first, it looked like normal industry pressure, scheduling conflicts, contract disagreements, subtle disagreements during production meetings. But according to leaked internal sources, something much darker was forming behind closed doors. One staff member allegedly said, "It wasn't just professional tension anymore, it felt like control. Like every move was being watched." Another insider described late-night meetings that were never officially documented and conversations that suddenly stopped when someone entered the room. And then came the first real shift. A trusted figure inside the organization, someone who had worked closely with top executives for years, suddenly disappeared from internal communications. No explanation, no official statement, just silence. That silence sparked panic inside the building, because people inside knew something the public didn't. This wasn't just a corporate disagreement anymore. It was becoming personal. Behind the scenes, rumors began spreading that certain individuals were being pushed out quietly. Their roles reduced, their access limited, and their presence slowly erased from decision-making spaces. One production assistant reportedly said, "It felt like people were being removed one by one, like someone was cleaning house without telling anyone why." And then, everything escalated when a private internal message allegedly leaked. The message hinted at a serious legal exposure risk tied to someone extremely close to the top of the organization. Within hours, the entire environment changed. Meetings were canceled, security protocols increased, and senior staff were instructed not to speak to external media under any circumstances. But the most shocking part? The journalist at the center of this storm, the one publicly known for a calm, composed on-air presence, was suddenly absent from scheduled appearances without explanation. Fans noticed immediately. Social media lit up with confusion. And that's when the real chaos began to form underneath the surface. Because according to multiple anonymous sources, what was happening inside the empire was no longer just professional tension. It was a full-scale internal crisis. And the name of one powerful individual kept coming up again and again in whispered conversations. Someone who allegedly held the key to everything unraveling behind the scenes. But nobody was ready for what would happen next, because this was only the beginning of something far bigger than anyone inside the organization expected. And the truth was about to explode in a way that would shake the entire industry to its core. The moment everything changed was not loud, it was silent. No announcement, no press release, no warning. Just a single leaked screenshot that landed online at exactly 2:37 a.m. And within minutes, the entire media world started to collapse into chaos. The message came from an internal executive chat thread inside the network. And it read, "If this gets exposed, we don't just lose a person, we lose the entire structure." Nobody knew what it meant at first, but those who worked inside the organization knew instantly. This wasn't normal corporate language. This was panic, and it was attached to one name. Anchor N, the face of the empire. The woman everyone trusted. The voice millions woke up to every morning. Calm, controlled, untouchable. But behind the scenes, something was breaking. According to leaked internal logs, Anchor N had abruptly canceled a private high-level meeting with senior executives just hours before the leak surfaced. No explanation, no reschedule, and that alone triggered suspicion. Because in this industry, nothing is ever canceled without reason. Then came the second leak, a recorded voice note allegedly sent by a senior producer. Panicked, breathless, and clearly not meant for public ears. She knows. I think she knows everything. We can't control this anymore. That single line detonated the internet. Fans were confused. Staff were terrified. Executives were silent. And inside the building, people were seen rushing between offices, deleting files, locking access points, and shutting down communication channels. It felt less like a workplace and more like a controlled evacuation. But the real explosion came when a second internal message surfaced, this time involving Executive M, a powerful behind-the-scenes figure known for controlling talent contracts and media direction. The message allegedly read, "We need to isolate her immediately before the next broadcast. If she speaks live, it's over." That line changed everything, because now it wasn't just speculation. Something was about to go public, something they were desperately trying to stop. And then, the twist that nobody saw coming. A previously unknown email thread leaked, revealing that Anchor N had been privately communicating with an external legal team for weeks. Not about contracts, not about negotiations, but about systemic manipulation inside the organization. That phrase alone sent shockwaves through the industry. Systemic manipulation. Nobody knew what it referred to, but everyone inside the company suddenly went quiet. And then came the biggest shock of all. A blurred screenshot of a document titled, "Internal Power Abuse and Confidential Control Report, Classified Submission." Inside the document were references to hidden influence networks, control narratives, and strategic silencing of internal voices who no longer align with leadership interests. But the most chilling part was one single line buried in the middle. Anchor N is no longer just an employee. She is now considered a liability risk. That was it, the moment that changed everything. Because within hours of that document leaking, Anchor N vanished from all scheduled appearances. No on-air goodbye, no official statement, no explanation to the public, just gone. And that disappearance triggered the real chaos. Social media exploded. Some claimed she was stepping away voluntarily. Others said she was being pushed out. But insiders whispered something far more serious. This was not a resignation. This was containment. And then the final twist of this segment hit like a shockwave. A security gate recording allegedly showed Executive M leaving the building late at night, carrying a sealed folder marked, "Do not open under any circumstances." The clip ended there, but the implications were clear. Whatever was inside that folder was powerful enough to dismantle everything. And as the internet replayed the footage over and over again, one question took over every comment section. What exactly are they hiding inside the empire that they're willing to destroy everything to protect? And more importantly, where's Anchor N right now? Because according to the last internal system log, her access card was still active, but she had not been seen anywhere inside the building for over 18 hours. And that is when the story stopped being a rumor and started becoming something much darker. The silence after Anchor N's disappearance didn't last long, because silence, in a world like this, never means peace. It means something is being prepared. At exactly 9:11 a.m. the next morning, a second wave of leaks hit the internet. And this time, it wasn't just screenshots. It was full internal footage. A shaky hallway camera clip from inside the network building showed something no one expected. Senior executives rushing into a restricted conference room, visibly panicked, speaking in lowered voices, constantly checking behind them as if they were being watched. And then audio cut in, a distorted voice, clearly from Executive M, saying, "If she goes live with this, we lose advertisers, partners, everything collapses overnight." That single sentence flipped the entire narrative, because now it wasn't just about internal drama. It was about survival. Minutes later, a fake but believable breaking news banner started circulating online. Emergency meeting held after internal exposure threat inside major media network. Social media went into overdrive. Fans were no longer debating what happened. They were demanding answers. Then came the second shock. A newly leaked document, this time partially redacted, surfaced on anonymous forums. It referenced controlled narratives, selective on-air scripting, and personality containment strategies used on top on-air talent. And one line stood out more than anything else. Anchor N showed resistance to directive alignment protocols. Nobody fully understood what that meant, but insiders did, and that's when the story turned darker. Because according to multiple anonymous posts, Anchor N was not missing. She was allegedly being contained internally, while negotiations were happening behind closed doors to prevent a full public exposure. But the biggest twist came from a completely unexpected direction. A verified but anonymous account on social media posted a cryptic message. "She's not gone. She's preparing something bigger. And when it drops, no one survives it clean." Within minutes, the post was deleted, but screenshots had already spread everywhere. And suddenly, the narrative split into two worlds. One side believed Anchor N was being silenced. The other believed she was about to strike back. Then, late in the afternoon, another internal leak surfaced, this time an audio fragment of a private call. A trembling voice was heard saying, "We underestimated her. She already has copies. Everything." That line changed everything again, because it confirmed one terrifying possibility. Whatever the Empire was trying to hide was no longer inside their control. It had already escaped. And just as tension reached its peak, the final moment of the day delivered the most shocking reveal yet. A live stream notification briefly appeared from an unverified account linked to Anchor N. Title: "The Truth They Tried to Bury." It lasted only 7 seconds before being taken down. But in those 7 seconds, viewers claimed they saw a blurred file screen titled, "Confidential Internal Network Recordings. Full Archive." And just like that, the internet stopped arguing, because everyone realized the same thing at the same time. This wasn't a scandal anymore. It was a countdown. And whatever Anchor N was preparing to reveal next was going to end the Empire from the inside. By the time the leaked livestream fragment disappeared, it was already too late. The internet had seen enough, and now the entire situation had officially spiraled beyond control. Within minutes, hashtags started trending worldwide. Hashtag Anchor N Truth, hashtag Empire Exposed, hashtag Who is hiding what? And the reactions? Completely divided, explosive, and emotionally charged like nothing the industry had seen before. On one side, supporters of Anchor N were in full defensive mode, convinced she was being silenced. One viral post read, "If she's being quiet, it's because they made her quiet. This is not a coincidence anymore." Another user wrote, "You don't delete a live stream unless someone is scared of what's inside it." Meanwhile, inside industry circles, panic was spreading. Anonymous media professionals began posting cryptic warnings. This is bigger than one network. If this leaks fully, multiple careers are finished. Another insider claimed, "Everyone is trying to distance themselves right now. Nobody wants their name connected to what's coming." And that's when celebrities started reacting carefully, indirectly, but clearly disturbed. One well-known morning show personality posted, Sometimes the truth takes time to surface, but when it does, it changes everything. No names were mentioned, but everyone knew what it meant. Behind the scenes, according to leaked reports, emergency PR meetings were being held across multiple agencies connected to the network. Damage control strategies were being rewritten every hour. Statements were drafted, deleted, rewritten again, because nothing was sticking. The story kept evolving faster than they could control it. And then came the most shocking development of the day. A second anonymous account posted a blurred document showing what appeared to be an internal risk containment map. Different names were listed across departments, color-coded, with one section labeled High Exposure Liability, Active Monitoring. At the top of that section, Anchor N. The internet exploded again. People weren't just watching anymore. They were analyzing everything. Every silence, every deleted post, every absence. And the mood shifted from curiosity to full-blown suspicion. Some fans demanded accountability. Others demanded transparency. But the most intense reactions came from within the industry itself. One anonymous producer reportedly said, "This isn't damage control anymore. This is survival." And that sentence alone fueled even more chaos. Because now it felt like the people inside the system were not just trying to manage a scandal. They were trying to survive it. And then, just as the situation reached boiling point, a new post appeared from an account believed to be linked to Anchor N Circle. It contained only one line. "Tomorrow, everything becomes undeniable." No explanation, no context, just that. And instantly, the entire industry froze again. Because everyone understood what it implied. The silence wasn't ending. It was building towards something massive, something irreversible. And as night fell, executives reportedly ordered internal lockdown protocols across multiple departments. Access restricted, communications monitored, movement tracked. Because whatever was coming next was no longer just a leak. It was about to be an exposure event. And nobody knew who would survive it. The night before the promised undeniable truth dropped, the entire industry felt like it was holding its breath. Every newsroom, every executive office, every social media platform, something was coming, and nobody could stop it anymore. At 3:03 a.m., it finally happened. A massive data dump hit the internet from multiple anonymous sources at the same time. Mirrored uploads, backup links, encrypted folders being unlocked in real time. The file name alone sent chills through anyone who saw it. Final_of_truth_leased. Inside were thousands of pages of internal emails, voice recordings, and classified strategy documents. But the most shocking part wasn't the volume. It was the content. Because hidden inside the archive was a recorded executive meeting. Unedited, unfiltered, and impossible to deny. In it, Executive M was heard saying, "If Anchor N goes public, we don't negotiate. We discredit, isolate, and neutralize the narrative before it spreads." The room went silent in the recording. Then another voice responded. "And if that doesn't work?" A pause. Then the final answer. "Then the empire doesn't survive." That one sentence broke the internet because it confirmed what everyone had been speculating. This was never about a misunderstanding. It was about control and containment. But the final twist came from something no one expected. Buried in the archive was a time-stamped message from Anchor N herself, recorded just 12 hours before the leak. Her voice was calm but firm. "If you're hearing this, it means I've already lost access to everything. But I made sure the truth didn't." Then she paused and said the line that changed everything. "I am not the first. I am just the one who finally made it visible." That sentence detonated the narrative completely, because it implied Anchor N wasn't alone. There were others who had been silenced before her, others who never made it to the public eye. And suddenly, the scandal wasn't just about one empire anymore. It was about a system, a pattern, a structure built on silence. Within minutes, insiders began deleting profiles. Forums went dark. Accounts vanished. It wasn't just damage control anymore. It was erasure. And then, just as the internet tried to process everything, a final message appeared on Anchor N's verified linked account. One line, no context, no explanation, only this: "Tomorrow I speak in real time." No edits, no filters, no protection. And then the account went offline. Permanently. No one knows where she is. No one knows who is protecting her. But one thing is clear. When she speaks again, it won't be a leak. It will be a live collapse of everything built around her. And the empire that once controlled every narrative is now waiting for a voice it can no longer silence. The internet is still frozen, not because the story ended, but because it clearly hasn't. Everything that just unfolded feels too big, too calculated, too impossible to be the final chapter. Anchor N's final message still echoes everywhere. Tomorrow I speak in real time. No edits, no filters, no protection. And that one line has now divided the entire audience. Some believe this is a moment everything finally gets exposed, the truth the industry has been hiding for years. Others believe this is a point where things could turn even darker than anyone expects. Because if what's inside those leaked archives is real, then this is no longer just a scandal. It's a full system collapse waiting to happen. And here's where things get even more intense. Insiders are now claiming there was never just one empire involved. There are layers, connected networks, silent agreements, and people in power who are now scrambling behind the scenes to distance themselves before tomorrow arrives. But the biggest question remains unanswered. Why did Anchor N say, "I'm not the first"? Who came before her, and what happened to them? Now I want you to drop your opinion in the comments right now. Do you believe Anchor N is about to expose everything live? Or is there a bigger setup happening behind the scenes that we still can't see? And more importantly, if everything she claims is real, how deep does the system actually go? Because tomorrow isn't just another update. It's being described as a live exposure event that could permanently change everything we think we know about the entire industry. And trust me, what happens next is not going to be small. It's going to shake every corner of the media world. So make sure you stay connected, because the next episode is already in motion. And when it drops, nothing will be the same again.